What's going on, everyone? It's Nick, and I'm back with another basketball video. So before we begin, please remember to like, and if you haven't yet, please remember, sorry camera broke, but please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I talk about basketball, I talk about baseball, and I talk about football on this channel. So if you love sports, this is the place to be. So before we begin, let's play the intro. So it's time for another unscripted video. Let me know if you like these unscripted videos or not. So first we're going to talk about Kyrie again, because I made a mistake in my last video talking about Drake being there, and my bad, he wasn't. But still, Kyrie just can't be doing that. I'm sorry, I cannot defend him for this. Now, B-Souls made a video on this topic, I don't know how long ago, but maybe a few hours ago, whatever. And some things I agree with and some things I disagree with. And I like B-Souls, by the way. I'm subscribed to him, I watch all his videos, so no disrespect whatsoever. I do agree with him that Kyrie tends to get vilified and things get blown out of proportion with him. And I was completely on Kyrie's side when Kendrick Perkins called him a distractor. Although with this, I just can't take his side, to be honest, because for him to not even let Steve Nash, his head coach, know about his whereabouts and just told his teammates that he's got some family errands, turns out he's at a club without a mask. And I understand it was his sister's birthday. I understand his dad's birthday was also yesterday, I think. I understand he loves his family, and that's great. I'm all for that. But to just go completely missing only to be seen at a club without a mask, pretty much any other profession, you'd get fired on the spot for that, right? And hey, in football, Dwayne Haskins, the Washington football team cut him for his actions. Difference between him and Kyrie, though, is that Kyrie has already established himself as a star in the NBA. Dwayne Haskins has not established himself as a star in the NFL. But for Kyrie to just not even tell his coach about his whereabouts, and now the team has to be without him for the next 10 days or so, to me that's selfish. Although the Nets were able to pull out a win against the Denver Nuggets, and Kevin Durant was a rebound short of a triple-double, 34 points and 13 assists. He stepped up as a playmaker with Kyrie out and Spencer Dinwiddie with his torn ACL. He may have turned the ball over 7 times, but it's fine. Take the good with the bad. The team won. And Karis LeVert had a nice game off the bench, scoring 20. And looking back at my preseason predictions, I had Danilo Gallinari winning 6th Man of the Year. But thinking about it now, Karis LeVert probably would have been the better pick. But it just is what it is, and those are just predictions. I knew I wasn't going to get all of them right by the time I made them. I mean, if anyone ever has gotten every single award and every single All-NBA team correct in one season, then you're just amazing. But that's not really what we're here to talk about. So with the Denver Nuggets, their defense is abysmal. They're ranked 25th in defensive rating this year. I'm going unscripted, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but they're somewhere around there. And I knew that losing Jeremy Grant would really affect them on defense, and here it is really hurting them. And also Michael Porter Jr., my pick for most improved player, although that's looking more like Christian Wood right now. We'll get to the Rockets pretty soon. Michael Porter tested positive for you know what, and he was not a believer in that thing. And guess what? I hope you believe in it now, because it is very much real, okay? So next, I'm going to talk about my Lakers against the Rockets, and wasn't really much of a game, and the Rockets look really uninterested. I don't think I've ever seen a team look as uninterested as the Rockets have been. Christian Wood's a baller, though, I'll give him that, but the Rockets, they're just super dysfunctional, and I feel bad for Steven Silas to be walking into such a volatile situation like this for his first ever head coaching job. I feel like he's being set up for failure. And James Harden, this is what the announcer really had to say about him before the game started.
I want to talk about some aesthetics. James Harden definitely had a pregame meal, averaging 17 points per game over the last 4.
James Harden, you're a generational talent. You're one of the best players to ever play the game. You're somewhere in the top 25 to 30 players of all time. arguably a top 5 scorer of all time, but you're being selfish. And I mean, I respect your talent, but I don't respect your attitude, and you're holding your team back. And with your attitude, you're making it harder for your team to trade you. I understand if you don't like the direction your team is going in, even though it's really not a bad team with John Wall looking pretty good coming back from his torn Achilles and Christian Wood balling out. But they're probably not going to win a championship even if you were fully committed. And okay, I get that. However, just show up and stay in shape, okay? And then you could have your trade value still up there, and perhaps you'll be more tradable. And there was a time when Kobe wanted out of LA. Most people don't remember that, but I do. Remember when he was in the parking lot saying this?
Right, my legs. Kidding me? Yeah, he's the one that drafted by him, so he's not gonna up. Ship his ass up. You talking about Jason Kidd, but he didn't want to do that.
They think Andrew Bynum's gonna be.
So now we sit here in this up position.
What's Andrew Bynum's potential? Honestly.
No, man.
I'll start.
Mitch Country Mitch Country had the nerve to ask.
But you know what he did? He stayed in shape. He showed up to play. And hey, things worked out in the end. He was able to win 2 more championships, and the Lakers were able to get him Pau Gasol to help him win those 2 more championships. So James Harden, yeah, you're a great player, but your attitude is just really bad. And it felt like the Lakers didn't even really need to try to win this game because the Rockets were just looking totally dysfunctional and looked like they didn't even care. And it all starts with James Harden, the best player on the team. And it's sad to see. And hey, I'm happy that the Lakers are 9-3. Best record in the NBA and looking like they're favorites to repeat. I'm really happy about that, but I'm just very disappointed in James Harden, a player of his caliber, to be acting the way he is. From not even going to training camp to party with little baby to throwing a basketball at a rookie teammate when you did show up, showing up fat and out of shape, and now just not playing anywhere close to your standard. And he's doing pretty well for a normal guy, but for his standard, yeah, he should be doing a lot better. And it's looking like I was right that he wasn't going to make the All-NBA first team. Although I had Damian Lillard making it over James Harden. Actually, CJ McCollum's outplaying him, but at least so far, my prediction that James Harden wouldn't make the All-NBA first team is looking correct. In fact, All-NBA third team might even be being nice right now. Well, maybe he still has a chance for that, but it's looking like he might not even make the All-NBA second team as long as he keeps this up. But you know what, though? It was still nice for the Lakers to be able to get this win with everyone playing under 30 minutes. Because you know that they're coming off a short off season, so you want to have the team as well rested as possible when it really matters the most. And even though this team is coasting, this team is still 9-3, and I'm excited for when they can't coast anymore and when they really have to turn it up. And in under 30 minutes, LeBron was able to put up 26, 8, and 5, and AD only shot the ball 8 times, yet he scored 19 points. And yeah, AD is definitely not going 100% right now, but it's all good because the team's winning games. And also for the Rockets, when I was watching the game, it felt like Eric Gordon was missing everything, although he actually happened to shoot 5 for 10 from the field, and he was 3 for 8 from 3. I mean, I guess he probably turned it on when it was too little too late, because to be honest, I didn't watch the full game. But Lakers won by 17. Definitely could have won by more if they wanted to, but got the win nonetheless. The team is 9-3. So now that we got the Lakers-Rockets game out of the way, the game I did watch after that, the Warriors and Pacers game, and that was a good game. And honestly, that was a winnable game for the Warriors. They just choked in the fourth quarter, but you know what though? I think the fact that people actually counted out the Warriors after just the first 2 games of the season and looked at Steph Curry as if he was washed up, you guys look like fools now. And even though Draymond Green put up another triple single, as funny as that is, triple single, if you really think that he's not a positive on this team anymore, what he said is absolutely correct. Yeah, you guys don't know basketball. I'll play the clip for you.
Draymond, I'm processing your answer about how good defensive principles can buy time for everything else to come along. And I was wondering, do you wish defense was seen like in a sexier way, that like being in good position or just staying vertical, that's just as important potentially as hitting a splashy 3, but it's the 3 that ends up on a highlight reel?
Well, that would require people to know the game of basketball, and most people don't. And so, wishful thinking, but most people will never learn the game of basketball. So I mean, they think they know, but yet don't have a clue. So it is what it is. I enjoy being one of the not so many people that actually know the game and being in that rare category of people who really know what's going on in the game of basketball as opposed to watching and think they can dissect it because they realize who hit a shot. It's fine.
Even though he may not be an all-star anymore and may have just killed his chances of making the Hall of Fame, the guy still brings intangibles, and he's a very, very smart player. He always makes the right basketball play, and he's able to see things before they actually happen. He brings those intangibles, and you know what else he's been able to do? He's actually been able to make Andrew Wiggins a good defender. Andrew Wiggins, of all people, someone that we thought would never become a good defender at this point in his career, because he's been in the league for 5 years now? At this point, we thought that he just is what he is on defense, but actually he's been very impressive on defense. Now, this Warriors team is not a championship team, but this supporting cast that Steph Curry has, even without Klay Thompson, it's definitely a team that should be able to make the playoffs. But as for the Indiana Pacers, though, they were able to bounce back from a loss to the Kings. And hey, Miles Turner was looking really good. 22 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 blocks. Domantas Sabonis, 18 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists. Pacers had 5 guys in double digits, so it was a very good team win for them. And I'll admit, I slept on the Pacers at the beginning of this season, and I think a lot of other people did too. Pacers are a good team. Even though the Warriors lost this game, we can expect them to stomp on Denver. At least I expect them to, because Denver's defense is horrible. And Steph shot 7 for 17. That's only 41%, but he was able to make 37% of his threes, which is great for most players, just not up to his standards. But you know his standards are like way up here. But I'm sure that he's going to go for at least 30 against Denver. I'm pretty sure of it, to be honest. And the next game, the Heat and Sixers, you know the Sixers situation with, again, I'm not going to say the word, but Joel Embiid legit looked like an MVP. And my guy Danny Green, by the way, I'm still very much rooting for Danny Green, regardless of what any other Lakers fan has to say. He had something to do with this. So I'm going to root for him forever. And same with Dwight Howard. And I'm not going to lie, I hated Dwight Howard when he left the Lakers 7 years ago or 8 years ago. Whatever, that's in the past now. But he was a part of this too, so I'm rooting for him all the way now. And Dwight Howard, 10 points and 8 rebounds in 13 minutes off the bench. But Joel Embiid was in full beast mode. Ben Simmons, quiet night scoring, but he was dropping dimes, 12 assists. And Tobias Harris is still out, but hey, this was a big win for the Sixers and for the Miami Heat. For them to stay in this game without Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, if I were a Heat fan, I wouldn't be upset about this. Obviously, I wouldn't be happy about losing, but for the fact that the Heat were able to stay in this game without their 2 best players, that's something that you could definitely not be upset about. And hey, Tyler Hero went off, and yeah, I know people did overreact to him in the bubble when he went for, I think, 37 points against the Celtics. But this time, yeah, he scored 34 points. I'm still not convinced that he's going to be an all-star this year, but he did his thing. Also, Gabe Vincent, 24 points, and Duncan Robinson, 26 points. So even though you never like losing, period, I wouldn't look at this as a bad loss for the Heat. So, okay, those are all the games that I'm going to talk about today. I know I didn't talk about every game, but I didn't really pay attention to every game. So that's it for today. Again, please remember to like, and if you still haven't subscribed yet, please remember to do so and hit the notification bell. And until next time.